Well, Jeff Hatz, welcome to the 2020 Video Huddle. This is episode 8 where I'm talking about builder business, and this is the add-on for Builder Originator interviews that I thought would be fitting for what I've shared previously about this business, adding some additional elements, not all coming from me, but coming from some of the people that work on my team for additional perspective. So for the benefit of the audience, with me today is Jeff Hatz. Jeff is the sales manager in our San Juan Capistrano office. Jeff joined our team late in 2017 and brings a great deal of builder experience to Loan Depot. In his 2 years of experience at Loan Depot, he is a 2 times Chairman's Elite winner. He's closed over $87 million in production in his tenure here. And of that, 49 million has been builder. It goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's great to be with you today, and it's certainly an honor to work with you again. And so welcome, Jeff. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Richard, and the honor's all mine. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, look, let's get to the questions. And I think the first one that's most fitting, and honestly, I start a lot of interviews with this way, describe how you secured your spot in the builder business. Now, I realize you have probably a story about who manipulated you into getting into this business, but certainly I'm interested in the builder aspect of things, because something grabbed your attention or somebody grabbed your attention and you realized the opportunity and the fulfillment that comes from it. So tell us that story of how you got wrangled into this.
Gosh, I don't know whether to thank or to curse that person, but this was way back in late 80s, early 90s, at the risk of dating myself. But I got into the mortgage business through a friend of the family's, and that small mortgage banker, broker, happened to have a couple really small builder accounts. And I came in underneath somebody. I was fresh out of college, 24 years old, whatever it was, and worked underneath somebody, and then an opportunity popped up to go a little bigger, and I was part of a group of lenders, loan officers that worked for one of the bigger builders in Orange County at the time, and I was the younger guy among all of these superstars, and a daunting chair to sit in, but it really helped me recognize at the time where I was and what I needed to be, who I needed to be. And it's quite the bar was set. And so over the years, that has helped me grow in the business and recognize that there's somebody out there better than me that's more knowledgeable, smoother, more talented than me. And that has driven me from the day one. That, in addition to some of the salespeople I've worked with and the escrow coordinators that have really held me accountable over the years, and I can name them. But you have to be sharp. You have to be sharp to play in that arena, and it's sink or swim. And I was so afraid of sinking that I learned how to swim. Yeah.
So moving on to the next question, tell me, how do you balance the need to know between home builder and home buyer? Right? I mean, there's an intimate relationship with the home builder, and you've got to be as honest as you can with, this is a deal, it's not a deal, or frankly, the group that a lot of people fit into, it's a maybe, and here's how we do it. So talk to me about that.
Well, there's also the group of people that say, yeah, no problem, it'll be no problem, we got this. And I think that there's a fear in those loan officers that if they don't say yes, somebody else will, so they don't want to let go and raise their hand. And then you end up backing yourself into a corner and you say, oh my God. And then what happens? And I think the absolute worst phrase you could ever hear in this business is, why are we just finding out about this now? Meaning, why weren't you? I mean, that has driven me for decades. And it's one of the things that wakes you up in the middle of the night is, why are we just finding out about this now? So you learn early, hey, and I've always tell my salespeople, there are going to be problems. I mean, this is the mortgage business. There are going to be problems. And if it's an inherent part of the business, there's going to be problems. You need to know as early as possible, you, Mr. Salesperson, need to know as soon as possible. So I'm going to raise my hand because, again, the last thing I want to hear is, why are we just finding out about this now? So problem, I'm going to say, guys, there's a problem. Here's the problem. Here's what I think we can do about it, possibly. Here's my game plan. Here's this. But transparency, you have to do that and then with the buyer, it's maybe a little different because you tell them bad news, they're going to run around and try to get another loan. Well, not all the time, but I think the main communication with both, but especially the builder and sales agent, is if there's a problem, I'm going to let you know about it.
Sure. Yeah. And the other thing I've found, and I'm sure the same applies to you, because I know we've had those conversations, when the transaction is over, some of the issues become significant enough where you've really got to do a postmortem to how did we get to that point without addressing this issue.
Yes.
And that's really important to me, because maybe you did everything right, but somebody else dropped the ball. And understanding that, not because I want to pick people apart, but because we want to put systems in place to avoid it in the future. Because
you got to find that if there's a weak link there that caused a little hiccup in the transaction, maybe you did whatever that you do to fix it and get it through, and maybe even get it through without anybody knowing, but you recognize where you fell down or where somebody fell down. And again, you're always looking for perfection, because if you're not, someone else is trying to get you off the top of that mountain.
Yeah, right on. So, another thing that I've observed about you, you like to have a good time personally. And I don't mean that in the negative sense. I mean, you find fulfillment personally separate from the business. And that can be really hard in this business when you can be especially when you first start out, all consuming on the weekends and the evenings. You could work 7 days a week and destroy yourself, but you found that balance. So tell us a little bit about how you master that balance.
Well, I think on the balance part, it starts with a good team. I'm really lucky to have a really solid loan specialist, Danny Serpa, that helps me do stuff. He's my right-hand man. For example, I went golfing last weekend with 2 clients, but when I can, and that's while it's fun, it's still a little stressful to be out of the office. But to know that you have a support guy behind you that can take care of things while you're away, and the trust that you have in that person helps a lot. Also, it does help to have an understanding spouse. My wife, Vicki, is fantastic. She understands that, hey, there's some weekend work that has to be done, but we try to carve out time, she and I, to have a little coffee time in the morning every morning to catch up and see how things are going. Anyways, I'm just very fortunate to have people like that in my life.
Right. Excellent. Well, thank you for that. And then finally, as our time is coming to an end, I want you to talk to me about, because I'm sure you've thought about, what's one thing that you think will be forever changed in builder business post-pandemic?
Well, Richard, I think pre-pandemic, there was a big emphasis on the loan officers spending a lot of time at the sales tracks on the weekends. With this post-pandemic, I think we'll have a much bigger focus on video, which I love. You can video face-to-face like we are here with the builder, sales agent, and the buyer. How great is that? And then you can save that time driving on the freeways. There's nothing worse than a 4-hour traffic jam on a Saturday afternoon. And with that time that you save, you can be available on call with the builder. And then other than that, you're mowing the lawn or having a barbecue with your family.
Keep your mind fresh. We're going to end on that note, Jeff. Look,
all right, I like
it. Opening up your camera and sharing your wisdom with the audience and with me is a real treat. I'm grateful for it. So look, continued success this year. And again, thank you for your time and being a part of the Video Huddle.
Pleasure's all mine, Richard. Thank you so much.